think I should say it like that. So, welcome back to my rambles, talking about anything and everything, learning, having an opinion, and also just to be in the know. And it's for entertainment purposes only. I am not in charge of whatever translation you do or how you perceive it. So, huh. Today we're going to talk about health, which is very important. I'm not a doctor, but just generally how I think it's important to talk about it, to take better care of ourselves, to be healthy, and it's wealth. We say health is wealth. If you're not healthy, sometimes you cannot do your best to society and also to yourself. So one major thing I remember when we were kids, we were there was emphasis of, and it was like a rhyme that we had to sing, cleanliness is next to godliness. And I know everyone, depending on their background, is taught differently how to cater for themselves and take care of themselves. um it was evident. You would know if maybe kids are organized. Some kids have OCDs due to maybe anxiety, and that's how they cope. Or also because extra cleanliness, about how their parents were strict and how they were taught to be. Like for me, being a firstborn sometimes, whew, yeah, it can show through how you're organized and how you might be disorganized, depending on how your background is, like how your family is. I remember when I was young, my mom, you know how, yes, parents bathe you until certain age, and I mean younger age, preteens, before maybe at 5, 6 years, 7, 8, that's when they at least give you, for me, um the freedom that you go to the bathroom on your own, do your cleaning. But now my mom used to emphasize on how to clean your innerwears and how to maintain cleanliness. And I know some uh, and I know up to date, even the neighbors, I have some kids, their innerwears are being washed by their housemaid, which, huh, then it comes to the question comes about, hello, welcome, Thomas. um Welcome. Wow, that name, Mike Cheval. Yeah, I think. So I've heard of stories that adults, even people in our age group, and I mean 30s and above, that your innerwears are being washed by other people. Uh, how is that normal? I thought that's your personal cleanliness that you should, let alone the clothes and the cleaning of the house. But innerwear, somebody else washing. Maybe if you're ill and indisposed. Um, who's Obama? Thomas. Uh, and Titi, welcome. So I I was wondering, when did parents or just to be doing your own cleanliness? I have a weird habit up to date. I don't like my clothes being washed by any other person. I started doing my laundry since I was in class 6. After I used to come home from school, I'll wash my school outfit. Um, I had extra, but just to keep it clean, and that's how I learned to take care of myself. It's not every home that does that. does that, I believe so, and help or housemaid doing their laundry or also, but it's kind of weird. His boxes, yes, the wife can wash them with a girlfriend, but someone you employ, uh, let me justify like this. I've seen the movies made from Africa, like Nigerian movies, um, that having a weird, serious topic to talk about. And it's, for me, I find it weird. I don't know about you. Do you? Or are your unmentionables mentionables? Or for those who go free, they don't, they cannot contribute to this topic. So it's weird for me, I might say. So that that really, because let's say like for women who wear panties or thongs, it's sensitive, and also for you also to track your discharges, yeah, it's getting weird. And also knowing your, how your hormones are, sometimes that's the only way you can see if you're normal or not, through discharge. Yeah, for somebody else to watch that, for me, I find it creepy and I find it disrespectful, because that's my own body discharge. But if it's for my child, yes, okay, parents might do it, but how far can a parent be to smother a person who's an adult that can take care of themselves? If it's somebody who's indisposed or unable to, that's understandable as well. But naturally, nah, I will not advocate for that. So yeah, through the song, the rhyme of cleanliness is next to godliness. That was one. We will sing, and then in classrooms, well, you know when a family is struggling because maybe the children's uniform, they had one set of uniform for the whole week, and that, but also how well do they maintain, or are they rough and played, uh, rolling around in the dirt? I've seen kids who are very, you might take them for playing, but while they go play, but when they come back, they don't look like they were playing with other kids because they're clean. They've maintained their cleanness. Also, some kids just come to this world and they just like, I don't want that on me. Then I was just watching another video of how young fast fathers changing diaper. It's hilarious. I wish you can watch it. And they get disgusted. You find a lot of men cannot stomach changing a baby's diaper. I'll give you an example. For once, when my sister was born, we had a house help, and sometimes when children are born, I think not many are aware of with this age of diapers. Um, you advise sometimes to use napkins that we used to use when as we were growing up, as we grew up with napkins and liners and some panties that were like the shower caps. They were made like that. So sometimes the doctors, maybe the baby is sensitive to some of the make of the pampers. So the next thing you're told to use cotton, like plain cotton, which is napkins. And I, for me, being a firstborn, I've raised my siblings, so I have done nappy changes that are now the diaper changes. So when they were, the lady who was working for us, my mom came home with a newborn, and the lady was like, and just as a newborns only eat, uh, one thing, and that's breast milk. Nothing else, maybe extra, maybe water, and that's all, but they still have to digest. So the lady told my mom outright, I cannot wash the nappies. That's disgusting. And my mom was like, she got a shock because now she's just out of childbirth and she's a new mom after a long time. And this is another person who's giving her stress, who's supposed to help her out. And now my mom got angry, and it's not good to anger new mothers. So when she got angry, her blood pressure went up and she could not produce breast milk to feed my sister, so it was just chaotic. So it happened, I had gone home for my midterms from high school. So I said, okay, that's no big deal for me. I washed them. And she was like, how can you stomach it? And I'm like, it's a baby's poop. She only is digesting breast milk, not an adult. So I have no issue with that. And it doesn't stick like an adult's, I believe me. But whew, it has a but anyway. So after that, she was then I asked we asked her, so since you're peeved by baby's poop, what happens when you yourself start your own family? She was like, no, i'll I'll buy pampers. We looked at my mom and I, we were looking at each other and we were like, oh, okay. So the next question was, and when the money is low, what will happen? We'll find other pampers that are cheaper. And it's like, okay, what if the baby has allergic reaction to the pampers? What will you use? Disposable ones. Okay, to each their own. So later on, um, like a year later, because she didn't stay with us because of she refused to do any work. Uh, she got married, and then life lesson. She got children, like 4 kids every year. Like first year, one kid, second, they followed each other. We call them Doremi babies. And we met when I was coming out to church and she was going to church. And I was like, oh, wow, how's your family? You still using Pampers? And she looked at me like, you could see the regret on the face. And she was like, I should never have said that. Yeah, yeah, life lessons will really bring you to reality. Anyway, so back to the cleanliness. Yeah, we have the new mothers being taught how to take care of the baby and all that. I have not gone through that process, but I believe I've heard from my friends who have gone through that process. But also, I was taught with my mom while taking care of my siblings as we were growing up. Um, the other notion is about cleanliness. Like right now, we're in our rainy season, heavy rains here in Kenya, and you'll find people obscuring showering because it's cold for them, and others just use perfume. I think they're using the old age because we have read pre-colonial time, people used to, because baths were communal, there's a particular place people used to go to bathe, rivers and oases. And for the Europeans and the Western civilization, they had bathing pots or bathing, what are they called? Those things. Anyway, so for back to question, I did question about what happened before sanitary pads came. about sanitary wear for women. My mom shocked me and was like, "Oh, they used to dig a hole. If it is your time of the month, you dig a hole and stay there until your periods end." And I was like, "Wow, thank God we changed that notion because no, you'll miss anything. You're just sitting on the hole. Your food is brought there. You cannot wake up. That would be very uncomfortable. How? Oh, was it shaded? Now the next question was it shaded because during that time all seasons happened, rain and heavy sun. So you can imagine you're just there and it's drought season and getting burnt and being then okay, the history of seeing how before it was perfected to be a pad has happened, which is a good thing. And also nowadays finding out that sanitary ware is how some people who are malicious use it and put chemicals in order to the world that we are living in, evil people, just money minded, no humanity in them. Then um we've heard of uh, tampons and all they use. I remember there was a time cotton was being, when I was growing up, I think in the 90s, you'll hear that you can use cotton, and I was like, come again, are you tying it or what are you doing with it? Because after reading the books, that's why I think I even matured before my age. I used to read a lot of weird things. Uh, Sometimes I even thought I would be a doctor, maybe in another life. Um, so I remember in high school, some students. I studied in Kajiado, so Kajiado, Kenya. So you can imagine, some students from where we were schooling did come from the interior parts of Kajiado, and some of them don't. The parents didn't even know what to buy for them, and you find they have a cotton in the box instead of pads, and you'll find even students just chipping in to help out in case they asked for the help. The others who didn't want to reach out, they will just do their own thing and it'll be a mess. uh Not to throw any other person under the bus, but I have seen not just the people from interior parts, somebody who was born and raised in this urban areas, and they were still using cotton. I didn't understand that at all, at all, at all, at all. Sometimes even I joke around and tell people, since we studied in boarding school, I have seen, and believe you me, I have seen when you ladies, you think they are clean outside here, but wow, you find, uh, since I was a DOMS captain, you find somebody has soaked their socks for 2 weeks under the bed. You can imagine making our noses stuffy and the stench. Let's start there. I remember we used to have cases during our house meeting. We used to call them house meetings for dorms. Each dorms had a meeting during Thursday morning, so that in case of any grievances, if anything needed repair or betterment, or time for extension of lights out, so that students who want to study at the night, since we had only one main switch, we didn't have separated like each cube their own switch, uh there for security purposes, about cleanliness and how to make our dorm clean. And we had interhouse, interdormitory competitions and all that. So we used to address them on Thursdays. And there was one. incident I remember when I was in form 3 and form 4. There was one, I don't know if it was one or a couple of them, ladies who used to go number 2 in the shower cabins instead. And here's the ironical part: the shower cabins were on this side, and the toilets on the opposite. It's just a walk through. Even if you're in the shower, you can just walk through. People used to walk naked. We didn't have the weirdness that we have nowadays. So just walk, go to the washroom, come back, and continue washing. If it was you using that stall, no one will come and remove you from that, not unless it was running late. But still, you'll think. And I'm not talking about number 2 that was loose because the stomach was had issues. No, the the poop. And then now, to make it worse, they are not the ones who are cleaning the stalls, because like for us, we had a rule: form ones were in charge of cleaning the compounds and the dining hall and their classroom. Then form 2s were in charge of cleaning the ablution blocks for all dormitories and the classroom. Form 3s were in charge of cleaning the cubes and the classroom. And then form 4s, they are left to study. So yeah, that's how you had from form 1 up to form 4, you had a duty to do. So for giving form 2s to do the ablution, and then here we are, some people doing their number 2 in the bathroom stalls. I can understand the toilet stalls and not flushing, but bathroom? It reached a point even our teacher was saying, I'm going to go the traditional way, uh, and get hot ash, and pour on it so that we can know who's the culprit. They did it a couple of times, and I was like, we're only ladies here. Why can't people just use their common sense and do the right thing? Even if you're pressed, the toilet is just opposite you. Hi. Then you'll find others who, time again, you've written the warning sign everywhere, and you'll find them dumping their used pads inside a flushing toilet. And again, I laugh outside here saying, you guys don't really know who you're marrying into your homes, do you? Because some things people used to do in high school, in boarding, actually that's where we knew some characters. We say character development, yes, but wow. And then so forgive me, sometimes I meet them in town, and some of them are really made up makeup. And I'm not saying everyone that has makeup is dirty, but ugh. Looking good, fresh, and then I'm like, oof. Do you remember yourself in high school? Even if you're young, you are growing into womanhood from 15 years to 18 years. And some of us, some of, not us, some of the people we studied in high school were even in their 20s, because they had come from the Maasai community, and some of them had gone through early marriages or escaped early marriages and started and went back to school. So yeah. But anyway, I hope for the better. I'm just hopeful they changed. I'm just hopeful for that. So you'll find when I gave duties for each person, like cubes and the ablution block to be clean, and those who are picking making the we had flower beds around the dome, so to make it clean and looking presentable. So you'll come to cubes. Another thing we had, and I know it's not out of their own fault, some people have anxiety when they're doing maybe their first time studying in a boarding school, and you have bedwetters and other issues that come about, that we realized later on that some people who bedwet when they're still growing, even older, might find some of them have gone through sexual abuse. So it's not something that you can pinpoint the issue, and some of them have issues with the renal tract. So it's a lot of issues. Then you'll find others, maybe it's because of sleeping in unfamiliar territory or unfamiliar places. They get shy. But like our dome was the longest, so if you're in cube 24 and you're passing through cube 12 cubes so that you can go to the ablution block to relieve yourself. And maybe you woke up like when you're having that dream that you're in the toilet and you're just about to relieve yourself. So by the time you reach, and it was dark, and also there are metal boxes along the way, so you'll find some people just being cut. But we made sure that the ablution light was always on, but it was far. Like for me, I was in cube 3. So that distance was a marathon, if in case you have a running stomach or issues. Um, so you find, even though they had issues, we were understandable. We understood some issues you could not stop, like tell somebody not to pee. But we were given options when you are admitted. If you had bladder shy, you're told to come with your Macintosh for helping. But you'll find they'll be like, okay, today I've not peed. They remove the Macintosh, and then an accident happens in the middle of the night. So you uh, mess the bed, and sometimes the mattress is not good quality. It sips down if you're sleeping on the top bunk, goes to the lower bunk to your bedmate. And then you, during the morning or during the day, you're supposed to air out your mattress for those who had such issues. And you'll find they don't want to air the mattress so that no one knows. Maybe, yeah, it's but it's something you could not have controlled if you had issues about it. We understood that. But now you don't air your mattress or your beddings, and then your cube, you don't open your window to air out the cube. So you'll find the cube is stuffy in the night, and then you do another mess. Your bank neighbor will be soaked wet. So yeah, so for that, I remember it was an issue also. But I I made a point of, if I knew or your cube mates complained about such issues, I'll talk to you, and then I'll say, if you're afraid to be seen airing out your mattress, um I used to open the dorm during break time when people are busy in the dining hall or in the classrooms, and then give you a chance to air your own mattress before people noticed. Which, it, to once you just own it. Sometimes I know sometimes it was embarrassing, and also you're shy about it. But if that is you, it's you. No laughing matter on that, because hey, and I know some people even in adulthood still have that issue, and people are suffering quietly in their homes. But air your mattress sometimes. Even your mattress needs to breathe the air outside your room. Um, then we come to the cleanliness of. I know some people, since they bought their pillow has never seen water or been vacuumed, so it's stuffed. Or even the pillowcases. Wow, that right there. For me, I do it once a week. or once in 2 weeks, depending with my schedule. If I'm too busy, I do my laundry after 2 weeks, or but I usually do every weekend. And I know that's not the cleanliness for everybody, but hey, be clean, take care of yourself. When you're clean, some issues are avoided. And that's all I have for you today. I've talked so much. Thank you all for those who joined, commented, liked, subscribed. Here back for more. Thank you for the likes. What the hell? Yeah, so how was the experience about cleaning? Was it good? Were you taught well? Or you're still in the verge of learning to be clean? It's a good question to ask. Everyone's cleanliness is not the same. Believe me, if you live with a roommate, you'll understand how you clean and how you organize is not the same thing as the other person. But anyway, to each their own. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Have an early morning.